Two simple habits that quietly transformed my life. For the longest time, I used to end my days in frustration and start my mornings in chaos. Each night, I would lie in bed replaying everything that went wrong, the missed deadlines, the harsh words, the disappointments, and I'd drift off with a mind filled with stress. And every morning, I'd wake up with a racing mind, already feeling behind, as if I were playing catch-up with life from the moment I opened my eyes. Then one day, everything changed. Not through some dramatic event, but through the discovery of two incredibly simple habits. They weren't flashy, complicated, or time-consuming. In fact, they each took less than 15 minutes. But practicing them consistently, night and morning, changed the quality of my life more than anything else I've ever tried. Habit 1. Practicing gratitude before bed. It began with an idea that seemed almost too simple to matter. Be grateful before going to sleep. At first, it felt strange. After a tough day, when everything seemed to go wrong, how could I possibly feel grateful? What was there to be thankful for when I was stressed, tired, and disappointed? But that's exactly when gratitude mattered most. Each night, I began sitting quietly before bed. No phone. No screens. Just me and a few moments of silence. I would recall the events of the day, not to judge or criticize, but simply to acknowledge. I would find just one or two things to be thankful for. The fact that I got through the day, a conversation that made me smile, a breath of fresh air during a walk, or simply the fact that I was alive to experience it all. It wasn't always easy. Some nights, I really had to dig deep to find anything good. But the point wasn't to force positivity. It was to remind myself that even within difficulty, life itself is a gift. The very fact that I was able to feel frustrated, tired, or disappointed meant I was alive. I was aware, I was experiencing. And there are many beings, call it strange if you will, who never get that chance. They are not born. They have no body. They cannot feel, complain, or rejoice. Realizing this made me stop taking my days for granted. Whether a day was beautiful or brutal, I started ending it with appreciation. Gratitude didn't magically erase my problems, but it did transform my state of mind. I began falling asleep with a sense of peace rather than pressure, with reflection rather than regret. That one practice became a powerful nightly ritual. It was like closing the book of each day with gentleness, instead of slamming it shut in frustration. Habit 2. Claiming the morning quiet for myself. The second habit was just as simple, and just as powerful. I began waking up earlier. Not hours earlier, just 15 to 20 minutes before the rest of the world started pulling at me. In those quiet early moments, when the city was still asleep and the notifications hadn't started buzzing, I carved out a small sanctuary of silence for myself. Those moments were mine, undisturbed and sacred. I used that time to practice mindfulness. Sometimes it was deep breathing. Sometimes gentle stretching or movement. Sometimes silent sitting, just observing my breath and letting my thoughts settle. The exact practice didn't matter as much as the mindset I brought to it. Before beginning, I would mentally declare, "This is my time." I would turn off my phone. No emails. No messages. No distractions. Just presence. Just me. Just now. This wasn't about productivity. It wasn't about checking something off a list. It was about alignment. About tuning into myself before the world started demanding things from me. And slowly, something shifted. That small, quiet investment in myself each morning became the foundation of my day. I felt calmer, more focused, more centered. I responded to things instead of reacting. I became more aware of my own thoughts and behaviors, and less swept away by the chaos around me. The irony is, I had tried so many morning routines in the past. Complex, hour-long schedules with journaling, running, cold showers, green juice, and more. But none of them stuck. They felt like chores. What made this practice different was its simplicity and its intentionality. It wasn't about doing a lot. It was about doing one thing with full presence and reminding myself each day, this time is for me. Why these habits work. What surprised me most was not just how these habits affected my mornings and nights, but how they began to shape my entire day. I stopped starting the day in reaction mode. I stopped ending the day in regret. I became more grounded, more resilient, more grateful, even when things didn't go my way. I realized that we spend so much of life chasing success, approval, comfort, recognition. But rarely do we stop and notice what's already here. These habits taught me to pause, reflect, and reconnect with myself, with the present, and with the deeper reason for being alive. And that's the quiet magic of gratitude and presence. They don't shout. They don't demand. But they gently guide you back to what matters. A gentle invitation. You don't need a life overhaul. You don't need to wait for the right time. You don't need to do everything perfectly. Just start with a few minutes tonight. Before you sleep, sit quietly. Find one thing you're grateful for. Just one. Let that feeling sink in. Then tomorrow morning, wake up a little earlier. Claim 15 minutes for yourself. No distractions. Just be. Breathe. Move. Reflect. Listen inward. Do this for a week. Then 2. Then longer. And watch what happens. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you begin to meet life differently. That's the real change. That's the quiet revolution. And it all starts with 2 simple habits, before bed and after waking.